Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to share a recipe for the seafood boil. It's a little Caribbean inspired. I added some green seasoning to it. So I hope you enjoy it. This is just my take on a seafood boil. It's my birthday boil, so I hope you enjoy. So here I have my live blue crabs and some crayfish or crawfish. Some people call them mud bugs or mini lobsters. So to prepare the crayfish for cooking, you want to purge them, and purging them just means adding some water to a bucket. You want to cover them in the water, and you'll notice the water is going to be brown at first, and as you keep removing and adding more water, it'll start running more clear. So what you want is that the water is completely clear. So this will take a few tries, so just keep adding water, removing it, and just keep doing that process. And these guys are very much alive, so we like to humanely put these down. So what we do is we put them in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes until they go into a deep sleep. They go into almost like a sedation phase. So after about 30 to 45 minutes, you want to pick them up, and if they have no reaction, then they are in a deep sleep, and then you can go ahead and kill them and clean them up and everything. I know in a typical seafood boil or in a Louisiana crayfish boil, they usually add the crustaceans live to the pot, and you'll see them almost jumping out of the pot. That's actually a sign that they're in pain or distress. If you see them losing their limbs or anything, that's another sign that they're in distress. Or if they're like fighting with you, then they are in pain. They do feel pain for about 3 to 5 minutes when you put them in hot water. So freezing them is the best way to humanely put them down. So I added some corn and some aloo or potatoes. And I'm also going to go in with a piece of a Fevergrass stalk or lemongrass. And I just smashed the bottom of it with the pestle. Get all the flavors out. I have this packet here. It's an Old Bay crab and seafood boil packet, so I'm just going to add that to the water. So here I have my own Cajun seasoning. It's just a bunch of spices that I mix together, and I'm also using some extra hot chili powder. So I'll leave a list of everything I'm using in the description box below, as well as brands that I like. So I have my seafood prepped and ready here. I have some snow crab legs, some mussels, shrimp, and some blue swimming crabs. These were deveined. Don't take on Manila. I was trying to put on nail polish this morning and it was a hot mess. I had too much work to do. I couldn't sit for it to dry. I'm sure you mamas or cooks know how it is. So the shrimp, it's tiger shrimp. I just deveined them, washed them really well. Lemon, everything was washed in lemon except the crab and the crawfish. I washed that in some baking soda and water. The crabs, they were chilled down to 2 degrees Celsius, and then I pulled the back off and everything. And it's better to do it at that temperature because they're sedated, so their nervous system is not very active and they don't feel it. It's better to do it that way as opposed to dunking them in hot water. This is the more humane way. I don't want to show all that because I know a lot of people don't like to see that part. So if you are interested, you can always private message me to know how to clean it. I cut most of the hairy legs off and cut the tips of the gundy or the claw. Oh, I forgot to cut this one. I have to cut this one too. And I scrubbed it with a brush. Sorry. The airport is really close to where I live, so planes always passing. So everything was washed with lemon juice. And the mussels, I also scrub the mussels too. And with mussels, you want to make sure it's tightly closed. If it's open, you don't want to use those, because then you could probably get food poisoning, because it's probably a bad one. So when you buy the crawfish, it's alive, and the most humane way to kill them is to chill them down to 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. So I put ice over them so they're like in sedation mode, and then I stuck the knife through them just like how I kill crabs. So this is the most humane way to kill crustaceans. That's how I do the crab, and that's how I did these. I prefer doing them that way instead of dunking them in the boiling water while they're very much alive, because they feel it. To clean them, you have to purge them about, I don't know, I did it about 15 times. You have to make sure every time you add water, the water runs clear after, so you don't want to see any grit or anything in the water. And you also want to scrub it with a brush, because they are mud bugs. They live in the mud, so you want to make sure you get all the mud out. So that's basically it. And the only meat you eat is in the tail here. So I just got this. I ordered this on Amazon like 2 days ago, and I've gotten so many great reviews on it. That's why I wanted to try it today. It's a really spicy seafood boil mix. So if you can try it out, I'll leave the link for it below. It's really spicy, so it's on our level, West Indian level spice. So I'm gonna try it out today and I'll let you know what I think. I like using my own spices that I mix, but I really trust in this one. And this is made in Louisiana, the home of all boils, seafood and crawfish boils. So now that I got my SwampFire seasoning, I'm gonna add it. This is what I really wanted, and I thought it wasn't gonna reach in time. So I'm just adding enough. And I also want to add my own little Caribbean twist. I'm gonna add some green seasoning, Caribbean green seasoning. This is a combo of garlic, pimento peppers, shadow benny or bandania, also called culantro, and it also has cilantro in it. So this is gonna be a good seasoning for this sauce. Add enough. Well, you know, I do skimp on seasoning. So you don't want to add salt just yet, because the seasonings that I added, it does have salt in it. So at the end we'll taste for salt, and then we'll see if it needs any. So as you can see, our boil is going strong. The aloo or potatoes are fully boiled already. And the broth or the stock smells so good. I wish y'all could smell it. So at this point, it's time to add our seafood in. So this is the little packet that I put in. It's the Old Bay packet. It has like chili flakes and a bunch of other spices in there. So the corn is fully cooked. Aloo or potatoes are fully cooked also. I really wish y'all could smell this. It smells just divine. So I'm gonna add all the seafood to the pot now. So I just added a little more water just so that they could all be submerged in there. And I added some more green seasoning also. So now you just want to cover it and let it come up to a boil. So you want it to boil with the cover on just for a bit until all the crustaceans turn red. So that would be about 10 to 15 minutes. And I tasted the sauce, it actually has salt in it from that SwampFire seasoning, so I didn't need to add any. If you're doing your own mix, then you'll need to add salt and taste, of course. You can add butter to it, you can add your own hot peppers. You can chop up herbs in it as well if you want. I'm gonna add that at the end when I strain my mixture out of here. But this recipe is just like version number 1. We'll do our next one soon. Because I like putting scorpion pepper in it. So you can add whatever you want to your boil. So I'm going to turn the heat off now and leave it covered for about 30 to 45 minutes. So it'll soak up all that lovely flavor. So I left the seafood in here for about 45 minutes. So it got to soak up all those lovely flavors that we added to it. Now I'm going to strain it out so that we get the seasonings and the seafood, but you leave back the liquid portion. So I'm using this strainer. I don't have anything else, but I want to get out the seasonings also, so I'm just using this to take out everything.
That smells good. Did you use the slap your mama?
No. We use the SwampFire. I use extra hot chili powder, the one you ordered from India. And I used a seafood packet from Old Bay.
Okay.
So we just fished out the seafood from that spicy stock that we made. And now it's just time to enjoy. I have some chopped cilantro here, some chopped bandania, shadow benny or culantro, and I have a chopped Scotch bonnet pepper there. So this is just my little West Indian kick. Because I also added the green seasoning to the boil, so it flavored up the seafood already. This is just for additional flavor. The corn really absorbed all the seasonings that I added.
Yeah, try that.
Also, I wanted to mention something that's really important. When you're cooking crayfish, when you boil it, if the tail is straight like this, if it boils like this, you don't want to eat it because it was dead from before. Keep that in mind. So in my previous clip, I showed you all the finished product, but I realized that even though the tails were fully cooked, the crayfish still didn't have that lovely red color. So I put it back to boil. And you see how nice and red it looks now? That's how you want it to be. So another thing I forgot to mention is if you didn't wash your seafood with a lot of lemon, or if you find that it's very fishy or fresh, or it smells too much like the ocean, then you can squeeze some lemon juice just to neutralize it. Lemon really helps with that very fishy scent and flavor. If you want, you could also just toss the whole lemon in there so that it boils with it. So this part is optional, but if you wanted to add more flavor to your seafood boil, you can do a sauce to pour over your seafood, or you can use it as a dip. So I'm gonna show you how I make my really simple sauce. I have some butter here, and I like using Kerrygold Irish butter. And I like going in with some Cajun seasoning. This is the SwampFire brand. I don't like to add too much because it already, because the seafood already soaked up all the Cajun seasoning that I added to the boil. So you don't want to overpower it too much. And I like going in with some fresh herbs. So I have some cilantro and some shadow benny or bandania. I like them chopped big, so I just left them like that. And I'm going in with some of the green seasoning that I used in the boil. This has a lot of garlic, and it also has some shadow benny in it. And this is optional, but you can go in with a little squirt of lemon juice. And if you're not adding one of those packaged Cajun seasonings, then you might want to add some salt also. My Cajun seasoning does come with a little bit of salt in it, so I don't need to add any.